Alright, last video on probability, and we're doing something different after this. Okay, there's only one slide on here. Here we're looking at a bag of marbles. There's 5 green and 8 blue in a bag. You reach in and you take out 6. What is the probability of getting these outcomes? Okay, so because we're taking out 6 at a time, we're assuming that order does not matter. There's no and then. And it doesn't say that we're replacing anything, and so it's without replacement. We know that order doesn't matter. Because order doesn't matter, we have to use combinations. Okay, now this says that we get 2 green marbles. Now there's some assumptions here. If we're getting 2 green marbles, how many blue marbles are we going to get if we're getting 2 green marbles? Well, we know that we have to pick a total of 6 marbles. So that means there's going to be 4 blue marbles. So we have to figure out the outcome of getting 2 green. Actually, let's use green just for the sake of conversation. We're going to get 2 green and then 4 blue. So how many different ways can we get 2 green, and how many different ways can we get 4 blue? That's total number of outcomes for green and total number of outcomes for blue. Then we're going to have to multiply those two together to figure out the total number of events that we want. So for the top, we have 5 green, 5 total green, and we're choosing 2 of them. Then we're going to multiply that times, we're choosing 4 blue, and there's 8 total possibilities. This will just give us the total number of outcomes that we want. So 5 choose 2 is 10. So we get 10 for that. And then for the blue, we got 8 choose 4. That's 70. And so we multiply those two together, we get a total of 700. Now, that's the 700 outcomes that we want. We haven't figured out a probability yet. The probability says the number of outcomes that you want over the total number of possible outcomes. The bottom doesn't have as many steps to figure it out, because we're just trying to find the total number of ways we can choose 6 marbles. And so we're choosing 6 marbles, and how many total marbles are there? Well, 5 plus 8 is 13, and so 13 choose 6 will give us a total number of ways we can choose 6 marbles. So it's 1,716. If I put 700 over 1,716, it'll simplify down to 175 and 429. Make sure you guys are using calculators. Okay, and then the next one, okay, this one is kind of like this one, but it says something different. It says at most 2 green marbles. And so let's say we have 2 green. So like 2 green and then 4 blue. So it's just like what we did above. So we have to figure out the number of outcomes for that one, which we already know. So we're going to write that down. It's 700 from above, this one right here. But then there's another outcome. Because it says at most, we can also get or. Well, there's an implied or. It doesn't even say or in here, but we know now we have an or, because you can get 2 green or you can get 1 green, right? Because it says at most 2 green, so we can get 1 green, and then we would have to multiply that by the number of times we would have to get blue. Now, if we're choosing 1 green, how many blues are we going to get? Well, we know that we have to choose 6, and so that means we're going to have 5 blues. Oh, but there's one more. Or we can have 0 green. Now we're going to write 0 or 5 choose or 0 green. We don't have to actually figure that out, but we do have to figure out 6 blues, because if we're choosing 0 green, then we have to choose 6 blues. Okay, so let's erase this. Let's get it out of the way. So on the top, well, the bottom's still going to be the same number of outcomes, so it's going to be 1,716. On the top, we're going to have to put the number of outcomes of getting 2 greens and 2 blues, which we figured out up here, and so that's 700. And then we're going to have to figure out the number of outcomes to get 1 green and 5 blues, or 0 green and 6 blues. Okay, so I erased the top, and We don't want to pay attention to this dude right here. So for this one right here, we're choosing 1 green out of 5, and we're going to multiply that times choosing 5 blues out of 8. Let's see, so that will be a 5, and 8 choose 5 is going to be 8 choose 5 is going to be 56. I'm going to multiply 5 times 56. We get 280. So we're going to add 280. And we have to add the number of outcomes from this one. Now this one we don't have to do anything choose 0. Because anything choose 0 is just going to be 1. So we just have to say we're choosing 6 blues. That's out of 8. So 8 choose 6. That's 28. So we have to add 28 to this. And let me punch that in my calculator. We get 1,008 over 1,716. 1,008 over 1,716 simplifies down to 84 over 143. That's your answer. Alright, I had to do this one because of the at most, and there's a couple of problems where you guys had that, and figuring out the number of outcomes that you want. In this case, there's 1, 2, 3 different times where we have to do calculations and add them together. Is the hardest problem where you have to figure out the total number of outcomes. Anyways, I hope this helps.